Hello, hello, hello. Farmers Branch. How much does it cost to live there? How much does it cost to buy a home in Farmers Branch? That's what we're doing today. That is what we're doing today. Well, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so let's get into it. Now, as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way, but also let me know, are you living in Farmers Branch? Are you considering Farmers Branch? Or do you have any earthly idea where Farmers Branch even is? Because our normal tool that we use, All Tools Research, actually has no idea where Farmers Branch is because it actually didn't pull up the stats. So we're going to have to go through an alternative method to get the real estate price, but no fear, we're going to make sure that we get it. All right, so as a quick disclaimer, or as a quick reminder is a better way of saying it, we are here to support you in any way that we can. So while if you're looking to purchase or sell in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, we would love to support you. But also we work all across Texas, all across the United States. We have agents everywhere. So we have hundreds of agents here to support you that are ready to go. So just let us know down in the comment section or reach out to us at admin@jaimeresendes.com and we'll take care of you. All right, so with that being said, let's find out how much do we need to earn in order to purchase a home in Farmers Branch. That's our mission for today. So let's get to it. All right, so as a quick, I need to reiterate, we usually have a different website here that we go through to get the average price of a home in Farmers Branch or any city that we cover in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Unfortunately, the normal website that we use, it does not pull up this data for Farmers Branch for whatever reason. It categorizes it or the zip codes as a Dallas address rather than Farmers Branch. But no worries, we just need this as a starting point. We need to know how much homes are going for in Farmers Branch. So the average price right now in Farmers Branch is $393,000. So we're gonna take that information and we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna say it's 393. This is going to be our mission. This is our North Star. This is what we're looking to get to. How much do we need to earn? How much salary do we need to have? How much do we need to make in order to purchase a home in Farmers Branch? That is our North Star. Now, before we get into this, I want to show you visually what we're talking about in this particular respect. So we're going to go here to jaimeresendes.exprealty.com. So this is my website. Feel free to hop on in here and get some real life. Essentially, it gives you access to the MLS. It gives you access to the multiple listing service, which is direct from the source. It is not realtor.com. This is not Zillow.com. This is not that. This is the direct source, so you get real-time information. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Farmers Branch. And we want to see what type of home we're looking at. So here we see it's about 106 homes available for sale. And we're going to only look at single family right now. So as you're coming in, again, a huge like is going to go a long way. But also, if you have any questions, feel free to bring them up in the chat. So let's go into this side of the equation or this side of the website. All right, so as a quick reminder, our average price that we have at the moment is $393,000. Where did we get this information? We got this from Zillow, then our typical spot, which is completely okay. But what I want to show you is the type of real estate that you can purchase in Farmers Branch right now. The lowest priced home in Farmers Branch, as of this recording, which is here in June, $209,000. And as you can see, this is actually even overpriced because it was just reduced in value. And you can even see the dumpster out front. So I'm gonna guess that this is probably a rehab gone bad that they need to get out of. If I had to guess, just pure speculation. This is a remodel over here, so 319. So you basically see the before and after. Really, it's a similar type of house. If not, I mean, it is the exact same type of house. You see the single bed over here. You see the the single garage, and then you see the single garage over here. So anyway, let's continue going because I can already see this lagging a little bit. So now we're in the 300 and getting close to 350s. As you can see, there's a lot of garages that get converted into a room, and that's not abnormal for Farmers Branch. In fact, it's pretty common. Now we're breaking into the 400,000s, what you can expect to purchase for that amount. And then we're going to go to the next the next price tier, and then we're going to get into our math that we came here for. And now we're in the 500,000s. And as you can see, there's not that many homes in the 500,000s. There's actually only one, and then it jumps up to the 600s. Now, what you're going to notice here is that there is no new construction in Farmers Branch. And that's it. There's no new construction in Farmers Branch. These are, although these do look new, these are about 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but just give me the idea that if you're looking for new construction, oops, there's one, I guess. I don't want to, that's a single builder. But if you're looking for new construction, whether that's D.R. Horton, Lennar, Highland Homes, Bloomfield, those types of properties or those types of new builds, those don't exist. As you can see here, this is actually a custom build, which looks beautiful, looks phenomenal. Right next, where is this? This must be, yeah. This is La Quinta and Tanglewood. I could have guessed that one. Cool. All right, so enough of that. Just wanted to visually show you what we were talking about with the price that we're at. So remember, right now we're looking and shooting for $393,000. That is what we're gonna do the calculation based off of when we're trying to figure out how much we need to earn in order to purchase here. All right, so let's get into this. This is our max price calculator, and what we're doing is we're taking market conditions plus our income, combining them together and spitting out a result on how much we can afford. So think of it as an affordability calculator. So oftentimes you know how much you're making, you see how much real estate prices are, but there's that disconnect, right? Well, how much can I afford? If I make X amount of money, can I afford this type of home? If I make this amount of money, can I afford this type of home? This is designed to do this for you. So you're going to want to go to the description down below and download this max price calculator. It is linked down below, so make sure that you go there and get the exact calculation that we're going to see, or this exact sheet that you're seeing. You will have access to it. Now, one quick reminder, because I get requests every single day about this, so I want to make sure that I make this disclaimer as we move forward. You're going to want to go to File. You're going to want to go to File and go Make a Copy. So once you download the guide, or once you have access to this particular screen here, you're going to see this, but you're not going to be able to edit this. So you're going to need to make a copy. So once you download it, make a copy. Please make a copy, because oftentimes what I see is somebody's asking to modify this version, that what you're seeing on the screen, and I have to say no, because this is my copy. So you have access to it. It is linked down below. So just make a copy and it's yours forever and for always. With that being said, let's get into this. Down payment. With the down payment, you have several options. So with the way that it works, whenever you're purchasing a home, you can buy a home straight up cash. If you have all that money, great. But oftentimes you're going to seek a loan. So whenever you get a loan for a property, that becomes what's called a mortgage loan. That's the terminology that we use. So whenever you're seeking a loan, you have several options. There's different loan types. The two primary loan types that you're going to encounter are going to be FHA loans or conventional loans. Those are the two primary loans that you're going to have access to, or that you're going to essentially pursue. Now, there's differences between the two, and I'll share some differences. I won't get too molecular with it, because there's better use of our time, but just give you kind of the lowdown. Which, when you're getting a loan, you are going to be asked for a down payment. So the down payment, as an example, with an FHA loan, that is going to be the minimum 3.5% down. That is what is going to be required of you to bring to the table. Now, when you get a conventional loan, the minimum down payment is going to be 3%. So those are two distinct differences right there. So whenever you're searching for a home, you need to take that into consideration. You need to take two big things that you'll see in the next tab. What your down payment is, so what that's ultimately going to be, which is determined based off of the value of the home, and your closing costs, which I'm going to give you a realistic number to expect with closing cost of this type of property. Well, let's continue. One last thing I'll say about down payment, and then we're going to fill out the rest of the calculator here. with the down payment, if you make less than 20% down, or if you put less than 20% down on the purchase of your home, you're going to be paying what's called mortgage insurance. This mortgage insurance is something that the lender requires of you in addition to your interest rate. So what they're saying is, hey, Jaime, I know that you want to buy this house, but I also see that you put 5% down on the property. Well, turns out that me as the bank, 95% of the loan is on me. I'm sorry, I'm financing 95% of this loan. You only have 5% equity in this deal. So what I'm going to do as the bank, I'm going to ask for an additional insurance. So essentially, I'm going to ask for an additional amount to, just in case that you default, in case that you default, we're going to ask for a little bit more so I can make some money a little bit quicker, just in the event that you do default. So that's what the mortgage insurance is. They're essentially asking for an additional, think of it like a fee, or think of it like a percentage, or think of it just an additional amount that you're paying every single month. So mortgage insurance is essentially insuring the mortgage. That, going back to the distinction, so on the conventional loan, if you put 5% down and you continue paying on that loan year after year, so around year 8 or so, you're going to eventually own at least 20% of your home at that point. That means that you have 20% equity on your home. Well, at that point, that mortgage insurance that you've been paying up until then goes away. That's one big distinction from a conventional loan. Under an FHA loan, I don't know why it squeaked there. Under an FHA loan, you can continue paying that mortgage insurance, and it doesn't matter once you become 20% equity owner, 30%, 50%, 80%, it is there for the life of the loan. In other words, mortgage insurance that you're paying on an FHA loan never goes away. With a conventional loan, after you get 20% equity in that home, it's gone. FHA, it stays, right? Let's keep going. For our purposes today, we're just going to say it's a 5% down loan that we're paying. I'm sorry, 5% down is what we're paying. Now we need to figure out what is our interest rate, how much we're actually paying on this loan. So in order for us to figure that out, we're just going to go over here and open up a new tab and go to mortgage interest. We are really lagging today. I don't need the mortgage interest rate chart. I just need the mortgage interest rate today. When you're watching this video, your mortgage interest rate is going to be different. It just is. So the easiest thing that I can do for us is show you where to go to get this information. And just to get a good ballpark, we go straight to Google and it gives us real-time information, or close. It gives you averages. So what we're going to say is we are going to buy a home for, let's just say the loan's going to be $400,000. It's not going to matter too much, but we're going to get into the ballpark. We're going to do 5% down. And then we're going to do a credit score of 720. So that's about an average credit score. If it's lower than that, well, sorry. If it's higher than that, okay, that's fine. But as you can see here, back towards the end of May, you saw the rates skyrocket for a little bit and then they came down. So there, for the first time in a while, consistently, the mortgage interest rate was above an 8%. Well, with an arm, I guess, is a fair assessment. And it was just over 7.5% for the 30-year. But anyway, the 30 years, what we're going to use. So we're going to say 7.4. We're going to say 6. 7.46. Okay, good. So from Wednesday's live stream, we can see that it went down just slightly. We're going to put a 30-year loan on this because that's what it's going to end up being. Property tax rate. property tax rate, this is really one of the most important things that I like to cover in these particular breakdowns of when we're looking at how much we need to earn, how much we need to make in order to purchase, in this case, Farmers Branch. Because property tax rate is wildly underrated or wildly emphasized in the purchase of a home. So understanding property taxes is really, really important because property taxes are they are this Texas is the 6th highest property tax rate in the country, New Jersey being number 1. So property tax rates are high in Texas. They just are. The second thing about property taxes is when you own that property or as you're purchasing that property, as long as you own that property, you're paying property taxes regardless if you have a mortgage or if you've paid out outright. So every single year you're going to have a property tax bill be due. And here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, it ranges from high one, so 1.8, 1.9 to 3% or so. So very, very low threes. So it's right in that range. But most of the more property tax rate is going to be right around in the twos. So think of it like 1.8 to 3.2. That's going to be the range that you're in when you're paying property taxes in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So as you can see, if you're paying 2.5% a year on the value of $1 million home, as an example, that's a lot of money. And it's a lot of money if it's a $393,000 home as well. So we need to understand where that's coming from. So this is a holdover from Wednesday's live stream. That was, what did we do? We did Rowlett. What we're going to do today is we're going to do Farmers Branch. So what we're going to do is going to go over here to Google once again, and hopefully, if I stop showing my screen or my camera, maybe it'll start keeping pace. Yeah, there's a little bit of lag over here. Okay, this is very, very lame. Let me try this again. Farmers Branch property tax rate. Well, I misspelled that, but we're not going to go back because the way that this is lagging, we are not going to risk it. So you're just going to go to Google, go to Google and look for the property tax rate for the particular city that you're looking to purchase in. So what I like to do is I like to go directly to the source and get the information directly from there. All right, so I can already tell Farmers Branch is probably not going to give us this information as we want to see it, but we're going to click on it anyway. We're looking for 5 numbers here, up to 5 numbers. Sales tax, regulations, tax information. No sense in clicking there because it's not going to give me what I want already. I can already tell. So let's go back. This one's by county. I don't like. Let me see if I spell it correctly. If that'll have any difference on the search. Farmers Branch. So we know what the city rate is this. Well, it's over here. City rate is 0.589. That's one of the numbers that we need. But that doesn't give us everything that we need. Let's check out this. So one of the things that you're seeing is unfortunately the case where it doesn't give us information, or it doesn't give us very clear information. So unless we know exactly what we're looking for, this would be challenging for anybody and everybody. You're seeing me actually struggle in finding this information, and I've researched over 80 cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex specifically about property taxes, and even I struggle with this. All right, so here's what we got. Let me make sure we got everything that we need. Okay, so it's going to give us everything that we need right now. So there's three numbers that every single city, regardless of where you're buying the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you need to look out for: the city tax rate, the county tax rate, and the ISD tax rate. Those are the three that you're going to absolutely need come heck or high water. So city tax rate, county tax rate, and the ISD tax rate. Okay, so we have the city tax rate. Where are we? We have the city tax rate right here. See, and it's even different from, what's this number over here? We had just seen 5.8, so this is telling us it's 5.69. I'm sorry, 0.569, sorry. Come on, this lag is very, I feel like a gamer except without the game. This is a lame game. I'd be kicked out of the lobby. All right, 0.569. All right, so this is a city rate. What else do we need? We need the county tax rate. So Dallas County is 0.2157. So we're going to add these together. So it's going to be 0.7, 0.77, 0.84. So it's going to be 0.784. Now we need to add the ISD. So Farmers Branch does not have an individual ISD. It combines with Carrollton. How do I know? Well, I used to live in Carrollton. So it's actually among the lowest tax rates when it comes to ISDs. Typically, you're going to see ISDs be above a 1 point something percent. So 0.84, so 7, 12. So 1.82, 1.827, 1.827. All right, so we have three tax numbers that we've accounted for. 1.837. All right, I got to remember that because we're still adding the city, the tax, and the ISD. Those are the three numbers that we for sure are going to have regardless of the city. There are two additional tax rates that often come into play in most cities. That's going to be the higher education tax, so think of it like community college, and the hospital network tax. So think of it like Parkland. Think of it like any hospital network that is in the vicinity to the city that you're working with. So there you're looking at, up here I can see we already have the college tax up here, so the higher education tax, so 0.188, 0.11. So that is 0.8. So it's 0.9. Four, 3.9, so 0.9. I am so lost. We're going to say 0.9. I lost count, folks, so I'm going to say 1.9. And then Parkland Hospital up here. So we're going to say it's 2.1, 2.2 when you add those together. So we're going to say it's 2.2. I know I did some really bad back of the napkin math, but what's most important for me is to show you where to get this information. And unfortunately, as you see there, this is not on the county website. I'm sorry, on the city website. This is on the county website. And if you're brand new to the area, brand new to buying a home, brand new to property taxes, as many of us are, well, you're going to come in here and see City of Farmers Branch. Okay, 0.569. Okay, well, okay, that's 0.569%, and you would multiply that times the value of the home, and you would get an estimate Unfortunately, that estimate would be radically off because you missed it by 4 times. So there, you see it's not 0.569, it's actually over 2 point, well, let's just call it 2.2%. And that's a big difference. You're only accounting for 25% of the property tax bill. So the difference there is going to be thousands of dollars, not just in 1 year. You're talking about thousands of dollars every single year that you own that property. Right? So again, just go over to Google, search for the city property tax rate, whatever city you happen to buy in, whether that's Crowley, whether that's Carrollton, whether that's Coppell, whether that's Colleyville, whether that's Salina. I don't know why I'm just going based off of the C. Cities with the C, but that's how you do it. All right, so the insurance rate, I wouldn't change this if I were you. This is a good estimate. So we like to put 0.75%. This we don't put the point here, but just know these are based off of points, what they call points. 0.75% times the value of the home. So we're saying that the value of the home that we're purchasing in Farmers Branch is $393. So that gives us the yearly estimated premium of insurance, and then we divide it by 12. But the calculation is going to do that in the next tab. So remember, this is available to you. Just check down in the description. You're going to see the link to this particular max price calculator, and you can download it from there. Our mortgage insurance rate. Remember that we talked about with our down payment, if we don't put 20% down on the value of the home, then we are going to be paying what's called mortgage insurance. So here we're just saying that our credit is on about average, that it's good, because we're going to need to factor that in whenever we get the calculation on the back end of how much mortgage insurance we're going to be paying per year or per month. HOA fees, they're not as big of a deal in Farmers Branch. That's a good thing. But with that being said, I'm still going to budget in $400 a year in HOA fees. So again, they're not as big of a deal in Farmers Branch, thankfully. A lot of that has to do with the age of the homes in Farmers Branch. They're a little bit older, and you don't find a lot of newer construction there. So if there was newer construction here, think of it like in the past 20 to 25 years, then a lot of the homes would be in HOAs, because over 85% of the homes that are sold right now that we're talking about new builds are sold into HOA communities. Fun fact. All right, so now we get into the calculation mode. We're going to go into how much we actually make per year. So you, of course, know how much you're making. For our purposes today, we're going to say we make $80,000 per year and see where that puts us with all of the criteria above that we just input. So we put what we have to put down, and then also the market conditions that exist today. Now, we also need to factor in how much of debt we are in. So we have the gross income, so how much we're actually making, but we also need to factor in how much we owe. Now, when we're talking about debt, we're talking about student loans, we're talking about child support, we're talking about credit card payments, we're talking about car loans. That's what's debt. That's what's categorized as debt. What is not categorized as debt is expenses. So there you're talking about rent, groceries, utilities, phone bill, insurance, things like that. These are expenses that you have that are already factored into the equation in the from the lender standpoint. So they have a ratio that they have to meet in order to qualify you for a particular loan. And that's where a large part of this calculation comes from. So your ratio. So to make it easier on you, all you have to do is just name the debt down here. Remember, this is yours, so it's not something that we're going to ever see. You get to download it into your particular Google Drive. We never see this. This is just more for clarity for you. Just naming the debt and how much you make, how much you pay monthly, the minimum monthly payment. Don't put anything beyond that. Just put the minimum monthly payment that you are required to pay by the credit cards or student loans. And then just name them all there. Now, if you have a co-borrower, whether it's your spouse, whether that's a friend, whoever's purchasing this with you, a family member, then you can put the income here and then the debt there as well. So we give 2 spots for co-borrowers here, even though technically you can have other co-signers beyond 2, but 2 is really where 99% of the folks end up landing when it comes to amount of people on the loan. All right, so with that being said, we are going to see how far this gets us. $80,000 with no income, with no debt, just to get the ball rolling. Now we're going to go to the next tab. Now, Also, one huge shout out to the creator of this max price calculator, Kyle Seagrace with Win the House You Love. So make sure that you go and check out that YouTube channel, which provided this for us. My goodness, this lag is just unreal, out of this world. Out of this world. All right, so it's still moving, has a life of its own. I'm not going to move this again. I'm just going to leave this here for a second. All right, so the way that this works, before we go back up to the top, the way that this calculator works is very simple. It gives us different price points. It gives us how much we're eligible to, the max price that we can purchase a property in. So as an example, if we have $80,000 based off of the market conditions that we just outlined at the beginning of the calculation, the most that we'll qualify for is about $317,000. That is the max price. Now you can buy less than that, of course. So you see different price points. This is basically giving you the different scenarios. Think of it like risk tolerance, if you will. So if you're not as risky, if you will, or if you just don't feel comfortable using 60% of your net income to your housing needs, which I don't blame you, then you can see what different ratios or different percentages of your net income would look like when it comes to the purchase price and monthly mortgage payment. This does all the calculation for you ahead of time. All right, so as you can see, though, we need to get to $393,000 to purchase in Farmers Branch, or at least the medium price. You saw that there was a rehab there, or a investor property there for about $205,000 whenever we were going through the search. So yeah, you could technically buy a home in Farmers Branch, but it's probably not the home that you want to purchase. So we want to give you a realistic scenario that will give you the most options. So for our purposes today, we need to make a little bit more. So we're going to go to the boss and say, hey boss, can you hook me up with a little bit of a raise, because I'm trying to buy a house in Farmers Branch? And the boss is going to say, absolutely. How about we raise your $80,000 to $100,000? And then we come over here, we are very close. We are very close. So while technically, yes, you could qualify for a loan of about $397,000, the reason I don't stop the exercise here is because we like to get between the moderate and the aggressive. We like to see that $393,000 right in between here. So we just missed it. I don't want to give you a scenario where you're trying to get the max possible off of the income that you have. I don't want to get you into this situation where it becomes very stressful to be a homeowner. That's not the goal of home ownership at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the boss and say, hey boss, I'm sorry to ask this, but I'm really trying to make this home purchase in Farmers Branch. Can you give me a little bit more of a raise? So the boss is going to say, okay, well, how about 110? And you're going to go back to your calculator and see, perfect. Hey, that's fantastic. $393,000 is right between where we want to be, the moderate and the aggressive. Now, of course, if you make more, the numbers continue to rise, and the more, and the happier that you're probably going to end up being. Either way, we just want to give you some realistic scenarios. So based off of our exercise of what we like to do here, giving the average market value of a home in Farmers Branch and given the current market conditions in terms of price, in terms of interest rates, in terms of property taxes, in terms of HOA and everything in between, you see this is what the calculation spits out. Now, so for our purposes, if we make $110,000, we're going to be able to purchase a home in Farmers Branch relatively comfortably. So that's good news. But let's continue. I want to show you what this breaks down into, because oftentimes we just see a big number per month and we don't necessarily know where that number is coming from. That's why we're going to use this up here. If this ever stops scrolling, we're going to use the this to really share all the numbers in between. So forget what I'm about to input here. I just want to get to the number that I'm trying to get $393,000 up here in the conservative range, so we can get a realistic breakdown. You know, I typically would try to get a little bit closer, but given the lag, we're going to call this good. Actually, I'm sorry. That's way above, isn't it? We're trying to hit 393. Okay, so let's go with 175. That might even still be too much. Okay, almost there. It's gonna be too low. Yeah. I'm so good at this, folks. As you can see, I'm all over this. All right, so don't worry too much about the yearly gross income while I'm doing this. I just want to get this number up here to something, oh, that's very close to what we need to be. So $393,000. We're going to pretend that that's close enough because it is. All right, so the breakdown is, if we're going to be paying 5% down for a property of this value, we're looking at almost $20,000 in down payment. Now, what are our closing costs going to be? Almost $10,000. So when we add these together, we ultimately are going to need about $30,000 to close on this property. If we go and purchase a home in Farmers Branch at $393,000, we're going to need about $30,000 in cash, if you will. So that's something that would need to be in your bank, or you can pull out from your 401k. There are some penalties, just so you know, but there might be some exemptions for you if you're getting your first home. So that's about $30,000 in cash that you're going to need to be coming out of. Now, your monthly mortgage payment is going to be about almost $3,800. $2,600 of that is going to consist of your principal and interest. Principal is the amount that you borrow. Interest is what it costs you to borrow that. Property taxes, this is a big number. I want to prep you for this. This is a big number, $720 every month. So remember, this is just straight property taxes. Regardless if you have a mortgage on this, you are paying this in property taxes. That's what surprises a lot of people that are not sure where this money is coming from or going to. So I just want to prep you for that. Homeowners insurance, your premium for homeowners insurance, which we will be required to have for the life of your loan. After that, you can do away with homeowners insurance. I don't advise it, but technically you could take life into your own hands, or your home's life into your own hands, and not have one. But I would not advise that at all. $245 in premium per month. Mortgage insurance, this goes back to that not putting 20% down on the purchase of the property. If you're putting less than 20% down on the purchase of the property, you're paying mortgage insurance. Now, if you have an FHA loan, as we talked earlier, this mortgage insurance will be there for the life of the loan. Now, if you have a conventional loan, once you get to 20% down, once you get to 20% owner equity in your home, meaning you own at least 20% of your home at that point, this mortgage insurance goes away. Homeowners Association, technically, we like to budget that in just so you kind of see what it looks like. If you're a planner, it gives you a realistic number that you would be paying per month for the housing. But again, you're not paying that per month. You're not sending that to your mortgage servicer. It's actually not even included in your mortgage. It's something that you pay at the beginning of the year directly to the HOA with typically, again, in January. So you see different scenarios, different numbers that are pulled from the information that you input. I encourage you that once you download this calculator, which is linked down below, that you go through this and really understand where all the numbers are coming from, and also see different scenarios on this particular loan or on any loan that you're looking to purchase. It gives you a lot of really good information that typically you would have to either ask somebody for this type of breakdown and or create it yourself. Here you have it at your disposal with only inputting a couple of numbers in, as you saw there. All right, so folks, that is it. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, please drop them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and also if we can help you in any way purchase or sell in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, in Texas, or anywhere in between, we are happy to serve you in that respect as well. See you on the next one.